And voters, if you vote for the Democrats, say will be your father as well. Blind leaders of the blind. It's amazing. This is from CBS Los Angeles. California Governor Newsom vows sanctuary to all.
Newsom used the moment to launch into a heated national issue.
But all kids, not just the children of a governor and a filmmaker, should have a good life in California. They shouldn't be ripped away from their parents at the border.
That's not a real man. That's a beta male. His mindset and emotions is that of a liberal woman. A real man would do what's right. He would not break the law. And why is he holding a baby up there? A baby that doesn't really look like a baby, but he has one of those things in his mouth like a baby. Beta baby! Beta baby! And the folks in California elected Gavin Newsom. I get sick in the head when I see him. I have with me Dr. Cleo Minago. He's a behavior health and culture analyst, founder and CEO of the human rights group Black Men Exchange International. And he is Black and was on time. You made it on time. Most of my Black guests don't show up on time. As a matter of fact, I at one time interviewed a cousin of mine. He's a liberal Democrat. And I had him on regularly, but he will always be late, so I banned him.
I was on the elevator in Washington, D.C., maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. And it was a white woman on the elevator. And I said to her, I didn't even know her, but I just randomly said, do you know that there's people who think that Black folks are always late? She said, I'm always late. I said, no, I said, I know white people do a lot of stuff that they don't get credit for, that Black people get credit for. But I thought it was funny, though.
Amazing.
And she was quite white.
Yeah. Well, it's a bad habit in the Black community. They call it CP time. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with me that men are under attack? Masculinity is the most hated aspect of our society today?
Historically, this is a patriarchal society. It's been historically patriarchal. It's been historically very oppressive to women. Women got the right to vote many, many, many years, hundreds in some instances after men. And women have been ostracized and put into a second-class citizen position for hundreds of years in this country, and they're defensive about it. They're upset about it. So they're resisting any type of threat to them.
So you do agree that straight men are the most hated group on this side of heaven?
Well, I have to really focus on the fact that my work is around Black men. I don't really pay much attention to the issues facing white men because white men comparatively seem to be taken care of, seem to have resources and power and the capacity to deal with what comes their way better than what Black people have in terms of resources or imagination. But getting back to your question, there's definitely attack. Yeah, there's definitely a defensive attack against heterosexual men. But it's not just out of nowhere. It's in response to a history of oppression from men who are masculine.
But most men today, straight, conservative, Christian men of power, have not oppressed women.
Most?
Right. And so why would they
how could you say that?
Why would they be under attack today?
How could you say what most men are doing?
But most men are not oppressing women. Women are ruling men. But let me ask, why would those men, it kind of reminds me of the blacks accusing whites of slavery, and slavery been ended 150 years ago, and they still say, you're enslaving us, we're suffering because of
Who says
sin.
That?
So the blacks, are most blacks complain about that. But let me ask.
I haven't heard that.
Let me ask, do you believe that most straight Black men have oppressed women?
Well, just like white supremacy, this is a system issue. It may or may not be every individual, but systemically, women get paid less, systemically compared to men. Women are traumatized, raped, or in a lesser power position historically and systemically. So it's not necessarily about every individual, which is why I asked you the question when you said what most men are doing. We really don't know what most men are doing, but we know that this is a patriarchal society historically, and that women have been treated like second-class citizens historically.
Is there wrong with that?
Is something wrong with anything that treats women as if they are
No, I'm
less
asking,
than
is
men?
there wrong with men being the head of society?
Is something wrong with men oppressing women?
No, how about, is there anything wrong with men being the head of society?
If that means that women are eliminated from the opportunity to be head also, that's a problem.
But you can't have two heads.
Yes, you can.
How? Somebody got to lead, and
Partnership.
someone got to lead, and someone got to follow. Even in a partnership, someone got to lead. You have a president and a vice president. In all situations, you can't have two leaders.
I don't believe in dictatorships.
So if a man is the leader, he's a dictator?
What I'm saying is that, no, of course, not all men who lead are dictators, but if men lead at the dismissal of women, if men lead because they assume that women are worse than them or lesser than them in terms of being in leadership positions, that's a problem.
You believe in God?
I believe in a spiritual realm outside of myself.
How about God?
I don't know. That's a word that comes with assumptions that I don't necessarily always.
So do you believe there is a God?
A God?
There is a God.
What do you mean?
Do you believe that there's a God?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, I speak more than one language. I've been all
Well,
over
let
the
me put it
world.
this way. Do you believe in God?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
You know, are you a Christian?
No.
You're not. And why not?
I had a problem with the white Jesus figure. The image of Jesus in the Bible contradicts that white Jesus, and it just felt uncomfortable and not a place of spirit and love. So I was not interested anymore after a while.
And so you were a Christian at one point, and then you saw this picture of a white Jesus, and you decided you didn't want to be a Christian? What is a man?
Boy, that's
What happened over the last 60 years or so that caused the average black man to be weak?
Are you familiar with cellular memory?
No.
This is documented science. If indeed your ancestors, your immediate ancestors were traumatized for some reason, that you inherit that trauma and on a cellular level.
If this cellular memory thing is
Cellular memory.
if that's an issue, why didn't we see that when I was growing up? I grew up under the Jim Crow laws. I grew up in Alabama. I worked in cotton fields and the plantations and things like that. And yet, black men were a noble men for the most part. They got married. They bought land. They educated their families. They took care of themselves and others. And they were not running around blaming white folks. They got along with white Americans. Why didn't we see this issue when I was growing up as opposed to now when black people can do whatever they want?
Well, people do what they can imagine.
So black men
But
can't
getting-
imagine working
Well,
and
I'm
getting
getting
up,
there. I'm getting to your
and
point. There have been several attacks on black people. For example, you mentioned
mean by the race
you
hustlers?
mentioned, well, listen to me. You talked about that there was no cellular memory. Well, there was no technology to understand cellular memory back when you were using that thing behind you, that cotton.
That's right, a contact.
There was no internet.
I have a contact here, folks.
There was no internet. There was these microphones weren't here. I mean, a lot of things are different than when you were younger. Black people were
But I
not.
don't
Wait, let me
understand
finish.
how-
Let
what
me make
does
the
that
point. When
have
you
to
were
do
younger,
with a
black people were
human
not
being
confused about
responsible?
racism. It was very clear about these guidelines. It was very clear about how society was set
So
up.
let me ask
Right
you-
now, black people are confused.
Let me ask this. Do you agree with me that most blacks are suffering not because of this phony idea of racism, that racism does not exist, is a made-up lie
racism
for them
exists.
to use as an excuse for failing? But do you agree with me that most blacks are suffering due to the destruction of the family and the lack of moral character and not this phony
No.
idea of racism?
I think most black people are dealing with post-white supremacy a trauma trance. Most black people are in a trance.
That's ridiculous.
And it's ridiculous to you
That
because you don't
is
understand
totally
what
ridiculous.
I know. Black people live in a anti-black culture that's a perpetual assault on their
But
self-concept
if they were
and
real
mentality.
men, they wouldn't be speaking that way. They were real men overcome things.
Well,
They
what's
don't
a real man?
They're men who love God with all their heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else, and they patiently endure. They overcome rather than complaining like little women.
Well, I don't see these kind of men you're talking. I mean,
But you just
my
use
whole
the
life
same,
is pretty
you
much
use the
black.
same things that they use.
What do you
White
mean?
supremacy, which
True.
doesn't exist, racism, which doesn't exist. You're using the same words that most blacks are using, men and women are using for the excuse
I
of
don't
failure.
think the issue is that it doesn't exist. I think for
doesn't
some
exist.
reason in your own personal development, you can't see it or grasp it, but
Because
it
it's
exists.
not there. It's not there. Had it been there, blacks would not have done as well under the Jim Crow law. They did better under the Jim Crow laws than they do now.
So ask somebody, if you don't watch TV a lot, if there's such
You
thing
know,
as a black love story, a
you know,
non-comedy black love story on television.
Thank you for coming in.
That was quick.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, folks. I'll be back in a moment to take your phone calls. It's so amazing to me that all these lies are made up why people are suffering, and especially black people. It's a lack of moral character, the destruction of the family, a turning away from God, values. If you don't have those things, all you have are a bunch of excuses. And it's time out for the excuses. It really is. They have gotten away with blaming white folks and blaming someone else that they're just rotten to the core with it now. And white men don't care how they dress.
I don't know.
You don't know what?
It seems like white people used to dress up.
Oh,
be
yeah,
classy.
they used to dress up. They sure did.
So like maybe this is like a white cellular memory trauma.
What a mess. I want to thank our super chat donations, the people who donated. Thank you, Eric, Tim, Smitty, and non-Muslim. Thank you all for your donations. I appreciate it. Let me go quickly back to David here, New Mexico. So, David, so you're saying that when people are rude to you, either because of your color or they don't give good service, you can become angry at that situation, right?
Correct, and it's basically, I hate to say it this way, but it mostly comes from white folks, and that's why I didn't want to throw that out there because I was trying to get to your point and try to understand it without having to throw race
So
there.
most of the
because
people,
I know, because I do know that there's a difference between racism and prejudice and stereotype. I don't throw that word out there a lot.
well, there's
So
no such
racism-
thing as racism.
So you say, but
No,
I
it's
still-
true.
well, I mean, that would be something that I can disagree with. I mean, you do
Right.
understand that, Mr.
You can
Mr.
disagree, but you'll be
Mr.
wrong. Let me ask,
Yeah,
do you believe in God?
I believe in God. Do I believe Christ was white? No, I do not. Am I angry that they keep forcing a white God in every church? Of course I am. I mean, it was enforced.
I didn't ask you any of that. Well, why do you hate white people?
I don't hate white
Yes,
people.
you do
Actually,
hate white
I
people.
don't. And I'll
Yes,
tell you
do.
why.
If you
I do
didn't
not.
hate white people, why would you bring all that crap up?
There's a difference between being angry at them and hating them.
But anger is hate.
No.
Yes,
Because I'm not doing anything to them.
Yes, you are. You're judging them.
I cannot judge someone without consequence. I mean, the thing is,
Only thing I ask, do you
The only
believe in
thing-
God? Hold on,
when you
David.
judge-
David, hold
when
on.
you ju-
David, hold on. I ask, do you believe in God? Yeah, but I don't believe in a white Jesus hanging in a church, and I don't
have to-
believe in all that.
have
I
to
didn't
throw-
ask
I
you
have
that.
To throw it in there. I have to throw it in there because
No, you
that is
don't.
what I have to, because that is
You're
everywhere
throwing
here
that
in the
in
United
there
States.
because you hate white people.
I have to throw it in there because it exists everywhere you go in the United States churches.
And your point is
cannot-
what?
You cannot go, because you're telling me that if you believe in God, well, which God are you talking about?
I didn't ask about a picture, a photograph. I only asked you, David.
I know what you asked.
Do you
I know what
believe
asked.
in God? And you went off on white people.
Their ancestors of what they've committed against everybody. For instance, Mexicans are now being asked to leave a country that they are indigenous of. They were originally here, and they're being asked to leave, to get out of here and go where? The only place they
Go
know
back
is
where you
here.
came from.
The only place they know is here.
That's not true. That's a lie. They're trying to get here.
California, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico,
David,
all of that.
let me do
all
this,
of that
David.
belonged to them. All of that belonged to them.
It doesn't belong to them. That's a lie.
It belonged to them.
It doesn't belong to them now.
It doesn't, because it was taken away from you.
David, you're an evil man. You hate white people.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You do. You're blaming them for
You're judging. You're judging right now.
No,
I'm rebuking. There's a difference between rebuking and judging.
David, you hate white people. You're an evil man.
No, I'm rebuking.
No, you're an evil man.
No, there's a difference. When
No,
a judge
David,
gets on a
you're
chamber,
an
when a
evil
judge
man.
gets
You
when a
are an
judge
evil man. I ask
Hey.
you if you believe in God. Your first response, yeah, but not in the one that's hating in the church.
That was my second. It was my second
right,
response.
your second
It was my
response.
second.
Not the white. I gotta run, but you like not the white man hating. You hate white people, and
No, I don't.
you're
No.
for breaking the law.
How am I breaking the law?
You want illegals to stay in our country. You're
I never
supporting.
said that. I
You're
never said
supporting wrong and bad
I
behavior.
never said that. I
You
never
said they
that.
own the California and Texas or something. That's a lie.
They were indigenous from this country.
No,
so
they-
all I'm saying,
no.
all I'm saying is, you're asking people who were originally here to leave and go somewhere else.
They were not originally here, David.
They were not. So the Aztecs were not indigenous.
I don't know
and that is
about
the
no
problem.
Aztec, but I do know the illegals who are trying to come here never
Well, I can
owned
tell you-
California.
let's get more technical.
They were born somewhere else. You sound like those blacks who claim to
No,
be from Africa.
I'm trying to give you some history on it because it's.
I don't
honest.
want no
It's-
crappy history. Those are lies.
They're lies.
Yes.
So the temples.
They are
everything is a lie.
meant
California,
to deceive.
So, but the white Jesus is not meant to deceive anybody.
The white Jesus?
Is not meant to deceive anybody.
Dave, I gotta run.
You're very whitewashed, sir. I hope, but
I'm
we'll keep
very
it that way.
whitewashed?
At least you're very whitewashed.
You just see. You hate me too.
No, no, I don't. If I hated you, I wouldn't watch you.
I won't
If I
go
hated you, I
along
wouldn't
with your
watch you.
crap. You hate
If
white people.
If I mean, you were the first one to be offensive towards me. You started telling me that I'm that I'm an evil man.
You
All
are.
simply because I'm proving
Anyone
points
who
to you.
hates is evil.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes,
sir.
Yeah,
I've never
sir.
hurt a white man.
But you hate
I've never
him.
done anything wrong to them.
You blame white
But yet-
Jesus.
but yet they have done to me.
They have done nothing to you.
Whenever you're going to need to get out of this country, good luck getting out. Because
Well,
you're not going to be allowed
Believe
to
me,
get
if I was trying to get out of the country, I wouldn't go toward Mexico. That would be the last thing. Blacks are hated in Mexico. Why would I go to Mexico?
You owe me an apology, though.
For what?
You owe me an because of the way that you decided
But
to
you
take
hate
this
white people. That's
conversation.
evil.
You decided to take this conversation.
You
into a
hate
different
white
pattern.
people. You hate the white Jesus. Anyone who
Sure,
hates
you're
the
not-
white Jesus, you know they have issues. Thank you, buddy. Come again. Back in a moment. Amazing. How do you come to my house and then you take over and now you want to illegally bring everybody else in? And if I'm not for it, something wrong with me. David is wrong. He is so wrong. And he has dual citizenship. Should you be allowed to have that? You either love America and stay here and treat it with love, or go back to Mexico and love Mexico and treat it with love. You can't have dual citizenship. And you're not going to be faithful to one country. And white folks, you better start speaking up. Everybody hating you and blaming you for their failure. Let me go out to a first-time caller in northern Florida. Is it Whitey? Okay, Whitey! Whitey, thank you for calling. You're on the air.
You got Whitey here, and I'm as white as Frosty the Snowman.
And I am black as the ace of space. Whitey, thank you. A great call, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, God bless you, Jesse.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Daryl from Washington. Daryl, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
I wanted to find out kind of what you say about homoousius. The idea
About
that
what?
it's homoousios. Homoousius.
Irma said that he had some homoousia last night with chicken kebab.
I think that homoousios is also a lie from the devil, and it might even be the starting point of identity politics.
I don't agree to disagree. You're wrong.
Right.
I'm not
Right,
agreeing to
yeah.
disagree. You are wrong.
Yeah,
This is from Chancellor, right? And he's responding to my biblical question, is your house divided? Is your house divided? He said, yes. Sadly, it is. I bought my fiance and her daughter a home for us, a nice home with acres. The ink wasn't even dry on the paperwork, and she left. I miss my family, and they are not my creative family. They are my found family that I took in and worked my fingers until they bled for. And you know my response to that? You got what you deserve, you damn fool. Call my show. You don't go and buy a fiance with a child a house with a lot of land. What's wrong with men? If you vote for Democrats and you call yourself a man or woman of God or a son or daughter of God, you're lying. Because that party is pure evil. They're anti-family, anti-man, anti-woman, good woman, anti-unborn child. They're anti-military. They're anti-Donald Trump, a real man. They're anti-men being men. They want to turn you into transgenders. They're anti-anything that's good, folks. How can they lie and they deceive and they don't want to put your country first? Why would you vote for someone that would not first protect you? That doesn't make sense. Anybody who votes for the Democratic Party is a beta. You definitely have mommy issues, and that is messed up. Back in a moment. And by the way, that Muslim that was cursing, we're going to get the MFers out of here, just elected to the Democratic Party. She ain't got no husband. She's a single mother. I mean, the Democratic Party is a mess. Now, I recommend you read my book, From Rage to Responsibility, as well.
Hey, I was wondering, if I do an audiobook of it, would you guys pay me?
No. A man was wearing girly clothes, shouts, and curses in a game store. Watch this. This is amazing. This is for your New Year's, all right? It's funny. Here we go.
No, we're not doing credit. You're going to give me money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was a general.
Right beforehand, you said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you, sir.
I apologize. I apologize now.
It's ma'am, not sir. They need to do something about the voice too, don't they?
I need your corporate number because I'm going to call them and talk about how it was misgendered several times in this store.
I apologize for that.
I need your corporate number now. Give me your corporate number. Well, I'm going to ask you for the 5th time to stop calling me a man because quite clearly I am not.
And I apologize. I'm sorry for that, man.
No, quite clearly you are. Quite clearly a mentally ill man or something. Something wrong with the mind. I don't know if it's mental illness or what happened. But something wrong. The employee asked the transgender to stop cursing and accidentally said sir again.
I'm asking you to stop
Get it
cussing.
for me now. I'm not cussing. I'm not cussing. Okay. Give me the damn number now. Please. Ooh.
Ma'am, I apologize. I apologize, ma'am. I will get you that number right now.
Amazing. Are you for the wall?
No.
Beta! It's amazing. Richard is a first-time caller out of Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Open arms, reach out to me. Georgia, Georgia. Hey, Richard.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Jesse Lee Peterson?
All
Good
this
to hear
wo-
from you, sir.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Are you a sinner?
No,
Okay, so if you tell a lie, is that a sin, sir?
no.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you go to church on the Sabbath or on the Sunday?
On the who?
Do you go to church on Saturday or on Sunday?
I go to church on Sundays.
Okay, well then you're a sinner.
How am a sinner for going to church on Sunday?
Because God said you is a sinner.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You think,
sir, what,
I was told that you think that Jesus is black.
Yes, sir, and it says so in the scripture.
Jesus is not black, man. What's wrong with you people? Jesus is Andre's color.
My wife is white. My son is half white. So
Your wife is white?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes. I don't look at color, sir.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney is a girl. If Mitt Romney was my daddy, I would legally disassociate myself from him and change my name to Jesse Peterson. The hate report, la la la.
And as a result of trying to get rid of the guilt, I ended up smoking marijuana. Anybody here ever smoked marijuana before? All right. The little baby said yes. We got to talk to your mother.
Get a job. Happy New Year, get a job. Everybody, really, but get a job makes some of the most savage moments of the Jesse Lee Peterson show that I've ever seen on this side of heaven. Thank you, get a job. You are amazing. Savage moments are something else. They are amazing. Smart people out there, folks. So, T, go ahead.
Yeah.
He made 30 of those savage moments. Amazing.
Yeah.